The UN Security Council is voting today on two rival draft resolutions on how to address the crisis in Venezuela, one from the U.S. and one from Russia. Now, both drafts are expected to be rejected as the resolution requires 9 votes to pass and 0 vetoes from permanent members. Now, those, of course, are the U.S., Russia, China, France, and Great Britain. Now, the U.S. will likely get the 9 votes, but will most certainly face rejection from Russia. So joining us now to discuss this and the ongoing crisis at hand, we'll bring you Thomas Trottier from Hands Off Venezuela. All right, Thomas, thanks for being with us today. So we're likely to see a stalemate at the UN today. The U.S. Draft is calling for a new presidential election in Venezuela and unimpeded human aid delivery. Many say that sounds reasonable. Your thoughts?
Well, you know, what is the United Nations? The United Nations is a collection of representatives from the various governments around the world. And the governments around the world, including the United States government, are dominated by wealthy people. A resolution from the UN plus $2.75 can get you on the New York City subway. I don't think it's going to, whether any of those resolutions pass or fail is not, to me, really pertinent to defending the Venezuelan revolution. What I think was quite interesting, though, was on Saturday, last Saturday, this so-called effort of the U.S. Government to try to get so-called humanitarian aid to Venezuela completely failed. I mean, I would say if you look at that situation, it's like somebody who burns you out of your house and comes running and saying that they're going to come and give you a coat to help you. You know, you know, the fact that that effort was defeated, I think, was at least a victory for the revolution on last Saturday.
Well, you know, the Russian draft at the UN criticizes, at the very least, it criticizes the U.S. attempts to intervene there in Venezuela's domestic affairs. It condemns the threats of use of force. China is obviously expected to back this draft, but where does the UNSC go from here?
I mean, again, I don't think UN resolutions really protect the people in Venezuela. I think what would protect the Venezuelan revolution is, number one, the Venezuelan revolution needs to arm the masses. And, you know, I believe that we need to defend the Venezuelan revolution. Defending the Venezuelan revolution doesn't mean defending the status quo. It means to arm the masses and nationalize the main means of production, the banks, the multinationals, the food distribution, the land from the landlords, and make sure that everybody has a decent amount of food. The conditions we know are bad in Venezuela, and the way that those conditions need to be taken on is to get rid of the capitalist sabotage that exists in Venezuela. Unfortunately, still over 60% of the economy is in the hands of the private sector. That needs to be dealt with. And then, of course, workers and young people throughout the world in places like the United States have to be educated about what's really going on there and have to be alert against the U.S. government and what it's doing in Venezuela. For example, the vicious sanctions that's imposed on that country, sending troops down there, threatening the country, that we have to be on guard against the government here.
Okay, Thomas, I just got to interject here for a second here. You're saying arm the masses, arm the people. I mean, I hope these are not calls for violence among the populace at this point, because at this point I think a lot of people on the world stage are still hoping for a peaceful resolution. Like, is there any chance that Maduro and Guaido would or I don't know, could ever come to the negotiating table and maybe broker a sort of maybe a power-sharing deal, or do you think their visions of Venezuela's future, are they diametrically opposed?
I think they're diametrically opposed, and I would like a peaceful resolution to the situation. In order to have peace, the masses need to be armed, because it's the fact that they're not armed, that's where you have the danger of violence. There's a danger of possible military intervention against the population in Venezuela. That's exactly what can cause bloodshed. I think it's exactly the armed people, the organized people, nationalizing the banks, the multinationals, the food industry, having under democratic workers' control. That's exactly what could prevent the violence in Venezuela. That's what will give a better chance for peace. You can't make a deal with Guaido and the U.S. government. They only want Maduro's head. They want the Venezuelan revolution overthrown.
All right, we got to leave it right there. Out of time. Thank you so much for sharing a few minutes of your day with us, Thomas Trottier.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.